Welcome in. It is day 92, and you're speaking with the Meeples Champion. And today, we are going into October 10th and speaking about another Halloween-themed game. So for today's game, I'm going to jump right into it. This game is called the Village Crone. Now, the Village Crone is a game I got close to a decade ago, and it's not been one of my all-time favorites by any means. I was excited at the time because other than really zombies, I didn't have any Halloween-specific themed games. And a game about witches seemed like a great idea, so I picked it up. It's essentially a pick up and deliver game. Your goal in the game is that you have different level type spells that you're attempting to go off and collect the ingredients for and activate. And when you do these spells, you get points based on the level of the spell. The first witch or village crone who's able to achieve 13 victory points wins the game. Ends the game right there. It's a cool concept and definitely a game that when you're talking about theme, it's all throughout it, especially for somebody who is from the New England area where Salem and witches is kind of a really big deal for us here. It just seemed like a game that was really embedded in what our East Coast community would look for in a Halloween themed game. So it's a good game, but why don't we jump in, let's talk about our 7 categories and see where it lands from there. So the art is good in this game. It's not great. I think you can tell from this box cover, it's unique. It definitely is selling you on the idea of the Village Crone. And again, as somebody from the New England area, specifically Massachusetts, you definitely get that Salem feel from it. And I think the inside of the box does the same thing. But in general, I don't think that this stands out outside of the Halloween month. And even during the Halloween month, while I do think that East Coast people might see this and get grabbed like I did, I don't think most people will for a Halloween theme because it doesn't feel as dark. You know, this almost feels more like just a fall type game. It just, for me, I thought that the art was a little bit subpar. Perfectly fine as an art style, just for the game, I just don't feel like it grabs me. And especially once I played it, I wasn't pulled into this game further because the art sold me on its theme. So it's a thumbs down on the art. The components are subpar. It's all cardboard, which I don't mind that. You know, when you get pieces, you toss it into the bags you're using. I don't mind cardboard. The problem is that it's no minis, it's cardboard standees, and the cards are okay, but I definitely could see if this game is being overplayed, those cards getting worn. There's some smaller cards that are the ingredient cards, and then bigger cards, which are the spell cards, and I don't know, there's just something about it. The cards, I'll give them the credit and say until I see it otherwise, even though it looks like it might not hold up, they have so far. At the same time, I've played this game once in 10 years, so that's why they've held up. But those cardboard minis, standees to me shouldn't be used in most games anymore. We're far beyond the days of Candyland. So for me, I want minis. Or I want meeples. I don't really want cardboard standees. And that was a turnoff to me. So it's a thumbs down on the components. The price on this game isn't unreasonable. This game goes probably around that $40 range these days. But you're never going to find this game, even in October, in a Target or in a Barnes & Noble. And even in a regular store, I think I've only seen this game in like 2 stores in the past 10 to 15 years. It's not an oftenly found game. And I guarantee you it hasn't been reprinted. It just wasn't popular enough. It just doesn't, for me, it's just hard to find. And is it really worth the 40 value? 40's good. That's a good price. I just didn't feel I was getting a lot of game in this box. The reason I haven't played it a second time is that I kind of felt like I was getting a little gypped on what I thought I was getting for a game. The game seems to just play pretty quick, and it kind of makes its mind up for you, and that was disappointing. So thumbs down there. This game is not difficult. This game's really easy to pick up. So when you're talking about difficulty, you know I have my 4 categories. Now, I think that a kid or an entry level can play this. The reason being, I got this game 10 years ago. I played it with my sister, who is now like 22, 23, so she was like 12, 13 at the time, and we played it perfectly fine. And at the time, I was far closer to entry level. So we picked this game up with ease. Was not hard for those 2 levels. At the same time, we didn't replay it because it just didn't interest us enough. And if it didn't interest us enough, it definitely wasn't interesting an experienced or an expert player. So while I don't think it's hard to play, I don't think it's difficult enough to like grab hold of most people. I think this is a Halloween specific theme that's an easy to play. For those of you who aren't looking to play a party game, this might be a good choice because you go, okay, it's not so expensive. We can get it onto the table. It's got a basic theme for the month, and it's at least a game. But it's not much of one, and I do think that you're going to find you're only going to get one play, and most people don't want to play again. So I'm going to give it a thumbs down on the difficulty. Surprise, surprise. If you haven't gotten one of the first 4 categories for a thumbs up, and that includes difficulty because people don't want to replay it because it wasn't difficult enough, you're not going to get the replayability thumbs up. It's gotta be a thumbs down. This game has no replayability, in my opinion. You're never going to play it twice in a row. You're not going to play this game twice in a year, and I'd be shocked if you play it twice in a lifetime. I think this is a game that few people are going to love. That's my opinion. So the keys to victory is only really the one, which is you need to complete gathering your ingredients to make your spells to be able to get points and hit 13. Now, I don't mind it when you're limited. However, I will say that that's the whole game. So all you're doing is just drawing and then hoping you're lucky enough that the spell card you got is going to include ingredients you already have, or that you're close to ingredients and it's an easy grab. Now, to be fair, you can invest and I believe build up your hand. So it's kind of like Ticket to Ride in that way of you may not be close to things, but you could invest and get others, and you're not going to take a hit because you have unused spells in your hand. So I'll give them the thumbs up because I think the keys to victory are pretty straightforward. It's not difficult, and it's something that is doable and gives you the ability to kind of mold your plan around it. Do I think this game's unique? That's a tough question. I suppose it is. I gotta be fair. It's a pick up and deliver, and its theme really works well with that concept because of the idea of, well, if you're going to be a witch or a village crone and you're going to make spells need ingredients, and pick up deliver is just grabbing those ingredients and getting them to where they need to be so that they can be turned into the right stuff to make the spell. So it's a perfect concept. Well, I don't think it succeeds fully. It doesn't fail. It is what it says it is. It's just too easy for me. However, it is unique. It's a great theme that uses that mechanic very well. There's things I would improve about the way that they produced this board and the way that they use the art, and I would definitely try to find maybe a different mechanism than just pure moving around. Maybe if there was a little bit more worker placement to it, it would help improve this game. But it is a unique style game. There's another game that really does this. I've played games like Horrified, and you are moving on the board kind of like you move on this board. The difference being, I think that's a far better art and pick up deliver setup. However, unlike this game, in that one it's a co-op, you have multiple things going on for pick up and deliver. Everybody knows what they are, but you're being attacked by the board. There's no attacker in this. Your only enemies are if you both are doing a spell that requires the same ingredient and one of you gets it first. So in that regard, I feel like this is different enough than that. And maybe you could look at this as a great entry-level game to prepare you for Horrified. I don't think you need much preparation. I think that game is good to go off the bat for most people at most levels. But if you are somebody who looks at that and thinks it might be a little too heavy for you, this might be a great entry level because it's giving you a version of that. That being said, I still think the way they do it in this game is unique. So give them a thumbs up there. Overall, what do I think of this game? I don't think this is a game anybody needs to own. And I don't think it's a game everybody needs to play. And if you're outside of the New England East Coast area, I don't think that you're going to find that this game is one that is going to compete with many true Halloween-themed games. But if you are from New England, specifically the Massachusetts area, and you know our history with Salem and with the Salem witch trials and all of that, this game may grab you. It grabbed me for that reason because it made me think of that. And I went, oh, here's a cool concept. So it may grab you and it might be something you want to try, and give it a try. Nothing wrong with seeing if the game hits better for you than it did for me. But just be aware that I don't think it's a game that is realistically ever going to make it onto your shelves. It's on mine. I haven't sold it off or given it away because it is a unique title on my shelves, and I really wanted it for like a video like this. But it's not one that I would ever buy again, and it's definitely one that if somebody really wanted it, I'd have no problem selling it just because I'm never going to pull it out again. Well, that's just been my opinion. It's up to you guys to get out there and make your own opinion. Until next time, this has been day 92, and you've been speaking with the Meeples Champion, and we've been talking about the Village Crone. Like, share, subscribe, and check down below in the description if you are interested in this game. I'll put up the Amazon link for you. Until next time, I'll talk to you tomorrow.